What is going on, everybody? I'm back again with another video, and I'm in Brooklyn, New York, and today I'm going to be covering two small neighborhoods that's called Cobble Hill and Carrol Gardens. There's a neighborhood that borders with Brooklyn Heights and Red Hook, and they're pretty cool, you know, because they got beautiful architecture and it's beautiful to walk around. And like the main street is Court Street, and it takes you all the way from downtown Brooklyn, bordering with Red Hook. So I'm going to be walking around and doing a couple of detours to show you the architecture that's happening around. So without further ado, join me. Walking around here, and ahead of me is Atlantic Avenue, and that should be the beginning of Cobble Hill. So I'm probably going to walk a couple of blocks and then make a detour to my right. It's going to be like a local park, and I'll see what's going on. Got a couple of stores, like smoke shop, Key Food Supermarket, which is all over New York City. And then we're gonna walk ahead. Like I say, Atlantic Avenue is a pretty busy street. But I'm loving the architecture that you see here. It's just beautiful. Wow. Even over here, crossing the street right now, and we just made it to Cobble Hill. So let's see what the neighborhood has to offer. So you can see a lot of people are selling the pine trees because Christmas is coming up pretty soon. So far I'm liking what I'm seeing, so let's see what can we find. So far, what I gotta say, the architecture here is just beautiful. And too bad like the leaves are gone, you know, now that it's gonna get cold. Today's not too bad, but yeah, I miss the autumn season and stuff. But it's a pretty lovely neighborhood, and the signs are like in brown color. That's how you know it's an historic district. I don't think I ever walk around this streets over here. I usually focus on Brooklyn Heights and Court Street, but I'm trying to do a detour in some of those regular streets to see what can I find. Then a block ahead of me should be Congress Street, so I'm gonna detour over there, and there should be a tiny local park called Cobble Hill Park. And I like to explore little parks around the neighborhood to see what's going on, so let's check it out. This is a tiny park over here. Not much, it's just like local and pretty small. And you can see the leaves falling down, and then the beautiful architecture that's happening around here. And of course you can rent a city bike in New York City, but I got my own bike, so I don't really need to use it. But yeah, then even across the street there's like some small architecture, so I'm probably just gonna cross the other side because I see the architecture and it kind of resembles like if you're in Philly or somewhere else. But I'll show you what's happening on this other side. I want to show you this. Like looking at this, it feels like if I'm in Philadelphia, like the small streets, the tiny streets like this, and then you see the beautiful architecture that's going on over here. That's beautiful. You walk over here to show you guys, and you got the local park. I tell you, it could take me forever to explore every single street in New York City, and especially in Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn just has like some really amazing architecture. Yeah, just look at this. Every single apartment has like their own detail, and it's beautiful. Tell you, this little street, it's just fascinating, and I've only walked like a few blocks, but yeah, tell you, you just keep walking around, you explore new things going on. And this is, like I said, Cobble Hill Park. It's a nice, pretty small park. They got like a playground. You see a couple of locals chilling, and you get the architecture on the other side, and that's Congress Street. So I think it passes over a bridge, and it takes you to the other side. So I'm probably gonna walk over there to see what can I find. Then I'm gonna turn back and show you a little bit of Court Street so you can see the main street happening around. It's made out here outside of the park. And wow, I tell you, it's like you be turning heads everywhere you walk. Every place is worth to explore. Like I say, a lot of people in this region, they mostly focus on Brooklyn Heights, but you can keep walking a little forward and explore neighborhoods like this. Cobble Hill, it's just as beautiful as Brooklyn Heights and probably a little bit more local. Look at this building over here in the corner. That's pretty interesting. And that's one thing I like to do. I like to go to every single corner of the street to see what's going on. So, yeah. So I'm gonna walk ahead because I think this is gonna pass over a busy highway, and then I'll probably be near the waterfront. And like I said, today it's cold, but not as cold like it was yesterday. So it's a good day for me to come and explore and walk around a little bit, you know. And then the next week it's gonna be December, and it's gonna be pretty comfortable weather. But yeah, I think people just got off for work, and then you can see what I'm talking about. pretty standard looking apartment complex, but it's still pretty nice and well maintained. And the highway should be around here. And then I'll see what's going on the other side. Just right here is what I'm talking about. This passes above Highway 278. And you can see parts of downtown and Manhattan on the other side. So, like I say, one thing I don't like about is that the sunset, it falls down a little bit early. So, you can see, still a beautiful view. But yeah, I'll probably do a few blocks ahead of me and then I'm gonna turn back to see what else is going on. And this is the highway. It seems like it's a traffic jam to head towards downtown Brooklyn or Manhattan. And I lost count how many bridges, how many highways have I passed by. And the reason I'm passing by is there's like another local park over here. Oh, look at this. Even the streets go over that way and you can still see a nice looking view of some of the neighborhoods in Brooklyn. Like almost all the colors are like a brownish color, so it's pretty interesting. So over here too, this is amazing. Here you got the local park, another local park, but nothing special, you know. Just a couple of playgrounds. They got restrooms too. I think during the winter time, a lot of this restrooms in this park, they used to be closed like around 4 o'clock. So like I say, it's a little bit hard to find like public restrooms in New York City. And then to my left side, you can see some of the newer buildings that they developed. And this one too is like a new building complex that they're developing. Then the closest subway train around here is the R train. So it's a little bit of a walk toward my right. And then they got a couple of other trains in the other side. So with this part, not much going on. There's actually like a port to my right side. But I think when I get to the other neighborhood of Carrol Gardens, there's gonna be more going on in the other side of 278. But this is Warren Street. I'm gonna make it to, I think it's King Street, and that will take me back to where more action is happening. And I'll probably show you a little bit of Court Street, which is kind of like the main street area in these neighborhoods around here. They got here a couple of apartment complexes, pretty standard and residential. Then over here we got some of the older buildings, but they're developing it. So they really maintain this neighborhood, you know, pretty nice, no matter what. You know, it's like an historic district. And they still got the Halloween decorations, even though we're approaching Christmas. But yeah, I think if I make this street over here and I make a left, it will take me back to the other side of the neighborhood. So back again, crossing the busy highway. I think I got a better view over this side. Nobody's coming down deep in Brooklyn, but they're heading over the northern part of Brooklyn or Manhattan. And then we're back. It's crazy how a highway passes by and we end up like in a quiet neighborhood like this. It's like magic. And then once I pass the highway, got a beautiful street and they're doing renovations. That's what they're trying to put something underneath the street or what's going on. But yeah, you can see what's happening. So I'm probably gonna make it a Court Street, or I'll check out another cool street to see what else is going on. See, even the garages, they look pretty cool. Like well developed. No parking anytime because it's an active driveway. So, you know, some people in New York City, they be driving pretty crazy. Some people, they drive crazy or they don't even follow the rules. So I guess if you park your car there, you're gonna get pretty toll. You're gonna get tolled at your own expense. There's a playground here because there's a school. And then I think if I take a peek over this way, it's like a little small tiny street. But I think the street ahead of me after Clinton Street is going to be even more interesting. And then one thing I got to say is really quiet when you walk around here. Like you just hear probably the birds and you see some nice looking neighborhoods. And then over here is Clinton Street. That's the street I was walking a little bit earlier, and it takes you to the R train. And then you see some nice looking architecture over there. But I think I'm going to make a block more to show you the other street that's probably more quiet than the other one. Then we're gonna make it to the main street, which is Court Street, and I think they might have like a couple of business happening over there. I'll make it to another tiny street, and so far it's pretty nice, you know. Reminds me of tons of other neighborhoods in Brooklyn, including Fort Greene. But then you got like this one over here. This one has something pretty interesting on the top, and then you got like all the leaves over here, because you know, but technically it's still in fall, but all the leaves, they have come down, so Let's see if I can capture some views over here. So I was supposed to go to Court Street, but I'm walking like in squares because you see so many interesting things going on over here. So I'm on this tiny street. I'm gonna make it back to Clinton Street because I saw some good looking architecture. Then I'll make it to finally to Court Street. So you got this over here. So I can get distracted with every single block. Even in the neighborhood is pretty small and you can walk it pretty quickly, but it's always good to admire the beautiful architecture, and I haven't even made it yet to Carrol Gardens, but that's good, you know. It can extend the video a little bit longer. Then we're back again in Clinton Street, and I'll show you why that I make it back here, because just look at this beauty right here that's happening and going on, and then look at all the beautiful architecture that's happening right here. So I tell you, I'm really a huge fan of architecture and the brownstones. Like I said it like many times, so I think Brooklyn tops it up when it turns to brownstone buildings. And I gotta tell you, there are tons of architecture that looks just similar. So the thing is, like, if you would look at it at an Instagram story or something like that, you would not even tell what neighborhood it is, because a lot of neighborhoods, they look pretty much alike. You know, in terms of the buildings and the design and stuff, you just have to look at probably the names of the streets. That way you have an idea what's going on. Over here, I see something that's pretty interesting that I'm gonna show you in a bit. This over here, for all the buildings that you get, you literally got like a house over here. See if I can cross the street, no cars. Yeah, this is pretty nice, pretty interesting. Wow. Pretty beautiful. I like the architecture. And then this one's cool too, but this one over here, just like might be the stairs and the entrance is nice. Now finally, I think I can make it to Court Street and see what's going on over there, and then make it to the other neighborhood, Carrol Gardens, and then probably wrap up the video. I finally made it to the main street right here, Court Street. And so far what I'm seeing is a lot of cool business. If I go across the street, you'll see what I'm talking about. So you got a couple of nice looking architecture and some business in the first floor. I'm gonna cross the street to see what's going on. While I do a couple of streets, I'm not gonna make it to another main street, which is called Smith Street. It keeps going, it's pretty nice. You can see what a regular street looks like. Lovely too, and when the weather's nice, like in the summertime, these neighborhoods are even cooler, like much nicer, you know. And we got like a church there ahead of me. So one cool thing about Brooklyn, a lot of these neighborhoods, they're like a small town vibe, but like in the heart of the city. So then over here, I'm making a Wyckoff Street. So I'm gonna head towards Smith Street, and then once I'm on Smith Street, gonna make my right and start making it officially to the other neighborhood, Carrol Gardens. I thought I was gonna cover this pretty fast, but so many interesting streets to see, so being distracted going around and exploring around what's going on over here. You know, here you have an idea of what the street looks like, Wyckoff Street, or Wyckoff, I forget it's either one, but yeah. Even the entrance, they have their details, you know, with the lights. This still has a little bit of the leaves from the fall season, but they all fall down on the floor. That's what I said many times, that the bad thing about the fall season is the mess that the leaves on the floor. And the same happens when it snows a lot. It gets pretty nasty and slushy outside, but yeah. But so far you can see what's going on over here. It's pretty beautiful. Beautiful buildings. I like how they maintain the sidewalks and the streets. And this is not even far from Manhattan. You just hop on the subway and a couple of rides and you'll be in Manhattan. I think if I go to Smith Street, it should be the F train and the G train. And once I head out to Cobble Gardens, that's where they got the highest, that's where they have the highest subway station in New York City, like all the way up high. So, and you can see the street keeps going. Some impressive, beautiful looking architecture. And then I think Smith Street should be ahead of me. Also, this is an interesting looking building. Look at this. With the old building where they build like this modern architecture. It doesn't have really much of a window, but still it's pretty interesting. Pile up over here with the old architecture. Then this is Smith Street, and it's kind of giving me vibes of between Greenpoint and Williamsburg, like pretty busy. I would have thought that Court Street was busy, but this one's actually a little bit more busier. You see a lot of people walking. You see what's going on, like the shops and the business happening around. So this is pretty interesting. And then once you hit it to Union Street, this will be the beginning of Carrol Gardens. And you can see what's going on over here. It gets a little busier ahead and the architecture gets nicer. I don't think I ever walked this street before, so it's crazy that I keep on exploring more and more. So it's kind of borders with other neighborhoods too. And over there is even nicer once I cross the street, Baltic Street.
Yeah, like he doesn't, nothing matters.
School, I guess it's just like a little small shop.
You know, it sounds like fun. He's also like...
Then they got a bagel joint across the street. I heard Brooklyn is pretty known for their bagels. Never had a Brooklyn bagel, but maybe one day I'll give it a shot or a try. And I gotta tell you, it's a pretty large street. It keeps going all the way ahead. But I'm only gonna do like a couple of other blocks and then explore the other neighborhood that I wanted to explore. You see what I'm talking about? You got Douglas Street over here. Keeps going all the way ahead, and then the sky. It's gonna start getting dark in a bit. Because it gets dark probably like in 30 minutes, like around 4:30. So that's one of the things that sucks about fall and winter, that it gets super dark early. I think I'm bordering Carrol Gardens because it says over here in the corner, Carrol Gardens Realty, which is probably the borderline of the other neighborhood I want to explore. And even if you merge over here, it looks pretty interesting, the streets. So I'm officially in Carrol Gardens, and yeah, pretty beautiful neighborhoods. I'm gonna do a couple of blocks and make it a President Street, because there's a local park in this other neighborhood. Then probably do a Court Street, see what's in the other side, and then wrap up the video. Back again in Smith Street. I just passed Union Street, which is pretty big. But yeah, I'm gonna go probably like a block ahead of me should be President Street, and then this should be like a local park that I want to show you guys. And over here we got another local park that's called Carroll Park, which is between Smith Street and Court Street. As you can see, a lot of kids are playing, you know, pretty standard, nothing crazy. But what I like over here is just the beautiful architecture that's going on. And it's starting to get a little bit cold and dark pretty quickly, but yeah. You can see pretty much what you see in any other parks in New York City. People just bring their family and stuff like that, so. Then got the brownstones. So all of these neighborhoods are literally connected together. So I'll shortcut through the park, and now I'm making my way back to Court Street to merge into some of the regular neighborhoods over here to see what's going on. May I make it to Union Street, across the other side, but we'll see. So far, everything is pretty interesting. 4th Street, a lot of interesting things happening. And like I said, a couple of years ago, I made a video walking the entire length of Court Street all the way to the end of it. But now I'm gonna make it back to Union Street, and I'm gonna make a left to see what's happening and other sides of the neighborhood. So I merged one of the regular streets, and so far pretty beautiful, but then this one caught my attention. It's just like private, you know, pushed back, pretty nice, and it even has like its own private parking over here. So that must be good, you know, live in a neighborhood like this, you get your own private parking, so you could drive anywhere and come back home anytime, not worrying about, hey, am I gonna be able to find a parking, because you got like your own private parking happening. And we're passing Clinton Street. I'm gonna make it ahead and try to merge into the other side to see what's going on. And as you can see, it keeps going, and it looks pretty much like tons of other neighborhoods in Brooklyn. Just trying to show you, you know, so you have an idea. And I discovered this neighborhood because when I was going to Red Hook, I had to get through this neighborhood, and I was like, wow, this is a nice looking neighborhood. So I decided to come back and do a video about it. I'm making it back to the area of 278. But in the Carrol Gardens version. So I'm trying to make it to Union Street, cross the other side. And this would be another section that's called Waterfront District. But pretty cool, but you can see what's happening next to me. And there's a heavy traffic jam over here, because I think rush hour is piling up. It's only like 4:10, but it's already like dark. So I think I only got like maybe 20 more minutes of daytime. I'm gonna try to explore a little bit more, and then I cross the highway again. I'm in Union Street, and I gotta tell you, this area is pretty nice. By Waterfront District, they got like the cobblestones, and they got a couple of shops over here. This is probably like a little small district in Brooklyn. I don't think I've ever been in this part over here, but it's pretty nice. And I think a lot of people, they probably don't know about this section over here. So yeah, it's looking pretty cool. They got a laundromat, a couple of shops around. So I'm gonna walk forward to see what else can I find. So with this area, there's not much going on. It's super residential. You can see like apartment complex happening around, and it's super quiet and a little bit isolated from the other side. So I think I'm just gonna turn back, explore a little bit more of the other side, and then call it the end of the day. I think it's been like an amazing evening exploring these two beautiful sections in Brooklyn. So yeah, you know, like I said, there's tons and tons of neighborhoods here to be exploring. Look, got like a little local park over here, probably like a private park. Then this is Carroll Street right here. So I'm gonna make my left over here and make it back to where I come. But what? Over here's pretty nice too, the street. One thing about New York, this is amazing garden. They got gardens like this, so I guess it beautifies the neighborhood. I guess it's the community that lives around the section. You know, they do stuff for the community. So you see that the streets over here, they're pretty wide. Got a medical center over here, and the highways over there. So I'm gonna cross back and walk just a little bit more before it gets dark. You know, there we got a massive church across the street, and then there's like a pedestrian bridge, but I think that pedestrian bridge must be like private, so I'm just gonna use the regular one over here. So I'm not sure how clear you can see, but you can see how dark it's getting. The sunset should be all the way at the end. You know, I can see like the orange color of the sky, so it's been a pretty epic day over here. And then the sidewalks are pretty impeccable. Over here we got another beautiful church across the street. It's called St. Paul's. And then this is back again, Clinton Street. This will take me to Brooklyn Heights if I was to go to the other side, but I'm gonna go towards this way. And you can see what the street is made of, you know, nothing but impeccable architecture. Then this is the part of Carrol Gardens I want to show you. They got the brownstone buildings, but then it has like a yard in the front, or like a patio or something like that. You know, it's pretty different than any other neighborhoods that you'll see. But look, see what I'm talking about? The brownstones are pushed in the back, but then they got like the front entrance. And even across on the other side, they have it too. But yeah, see, they got this in the front, and then in the back you can enter the apartment complex. And then the streets are labeled by the number. And it keeps going, but I'm not gonna show a lot because you've seen brownstone buildings that look pretty similar in many other neighborhoods. So this area, Court Street by Carrol Gardens, looks more active. And you see the selling like Christmas decorations. If you look at some of the streets, they're pretty beautiful. Been a lot of action going on. I can see even the elevated rail from the train to my left side. So, and like I said, no, it's not 7 o'clock. It's only like 4:30. But you see what I'm talking about in terms of getting dark early. But yeah, people, you know, a couple of people in the streets. And even this main street, they preserved architecture, you know, pretty beautiful. So I'm probably gonna make my way towards 9th Street, then a left, heading towards where the subway line is, and grab the video over there. Decided to do a little detour over here to show you what's going on in some of these regular streets. Let me just cross the street over here, and then you have an idea what I'm talking about. It's much better when the leaves are out of the trees, but yeah, it's pretty nice, you know, the architecture, all of this. And I think if you go over that way, it passes over the highway, but under the bridge, and you enter like another neighborhood that's called Red Hook, which I made a video there last summer. And it's a pretty small but pretty interesting neighborhood. But so far, this is what you get. So this is a really beautiful neighborhood in Brooklyn. And this is the other side of Court Street. You see Court Street groceries, or grocers. Sorry, I read it wrong. A lot of business in the first floor, a lot of coffee shops around here, even a bike shop. Then they got one of these healthy joint restaurants. And they sell sandwiches, salads and stuff. Like I said, if you go straight, you'll end up in Red Hook, Brooklyn, which is a pretty underrated neighborhood that has changed a lot throughout the years. Then if I merge into one of these streets, it will take me to the highly elevated subway line, which is the F train and the G train. And this is 9th Street right here, which I'm gonna merge into the left, and I'll collide with 9th Street and Smith Street, and that's where the subway line is. So here it goes. I can see the elevated subway train ahead of me. It's pretty cool. They also got like bike lanes, so the neighborhood's pretty walkable and pretty bikeable. There's even like a Christmas decoration right here, but it got a Christmas music playing, so interesting. But yeah, let's walk ahead and we wrap it up. Here, what you're looking at is the tallest or the highest subway station in the whole New York City. Super highly elevated over there, as you can see, and then there's a highway over here. So it's like in the middle of the end of nowhere, so like the borderline of Carrol Gardens, ending over there. But yeah, everybody, that was the end of my video exploring these beautiful neighborhoods in Brooklyn. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Be safe out there, everybody. God bless y'all, and peace.